John Ulzheimer is known as one of our nation's most recognized credit experts. Having worked for 28 years in the credit industry, John has become one of the most prolific speakers about credit and the go-to authority on answers to credit-related questions. Credit Countdown with John Ulzheimer.
Hello, my name is John Ulzheimer. I am a consumer credit expert. I've spent almost 30 years in the credit industry with time at both FICO, which is obviously the company behind the credit scoring system, FICO credit scoring system, and Equifax, which is one of the three generally recognized consumer credit reporting agencies. And so today's vlog, I'm going to discuss anything on your credit report that indicates how well or how poorly you're paying an account. And that's going to be things like statuses and ratings. And so there are a variety of ways for a lender or creditor to indicate how well or how poorly you're managing your account. And specifically, this means whether or not you're making your payments on time. So I'm not going to get into past due balances because that's covered elsewhere under a balance type of vlog. But specifically, I'm going to talk about statuses and ratings. So what you see here, we're actually going to talk about four things. We're going to talk about account status, MOP, which stands for manner of payment. Some people call it method of payment, but MOP, payment rating, and then the 84-month payment history grid that will generally show up on your credit reports associated with an account. What all four of these things have in common, these are all Metro 2 fields and characters. The reason that's important is because a credit report that is used by a lender or a quote-unquote user for the purposes of making a decision on a loan that you're applying for or a credit card that you've applied for, those credit reports are going to contain these particular fields. And maybe even more important, these are the fields that are also considered in credit scoring systems. If you see anything on your credit report that you've pulled off of a website like annualcreditreport.com or transunion.com, those are referred to as disclosure style credit reports. Those credit reports are never provided to lenders, and they include information that isn't actually on your real credit report, which is the actual credit report in the Metro 2 format that is provided to lenders for the decision-making process. So if you ever see anything on the reports that you pull, something like current status, payment status, pay rating, those are not actually real Metro 2 fields. Those are just values and characters that the disclosure style reports have that are not actually provided by your lenders because they're not Metro 2, all right? So let's just make sure that we draw this kind of line of demarcation between what actually does show up on a credit report versus all that other stuff which actually does not show up on a credit report that's provided to a lender. So if you ever hear anybody talking about, well, the current status of, there is no such thing as current status, right? So account status. There are over 30 different account status codes that can appear on a trade line on your particular credit report. The ones that are important to you are going to be the ones that indicate whether or not your account is paid as agreed or paid on time versus being some level of delinquency. So a common way of reporting an account that's paid on time is paid as agreed or a current account. If you, however, go delinquent, then the lender may start reporting you as having an account status indicating that you're 30 days late, 60, 90, 120, 150, or 180 plus. Obviously, that's a small number of representations. There's many, many more of them. So hopefully your account status experience is just indicates that it's a paid on time account or that it's closed, but it was always paid on time prior to that. MOP, what you're going to notice is a lot of this stuff is redundant. So there are a variety of ways that a creditor can report kind of the same thing about the management of an account. Manner of payment or method of payment. Again, there are actually more of these codes than there are account status codes. And so the manner of payment codes can also indicate whether an account is being paid on time or if it is delinquent, and then what kind of ascending level of delinquency that you may have. But you may have a method of payment code on your credit report that indicates that something is 30 days late, and an account status code that also indicate 30 days late. So essentially it says the same thing about the account. It's not considered as doubly late by credit scoring systems. I can already see where some of you are headed with that. It just indicates that the one account is currently being reported with an account status code of 30 days late. But again, hopefully your manner of payment or method of payment codes also indicate that you're paying as agreed. Payment rating, again, another way to represent how well or how poorly you're paying an account. So your payment rating may indicate, again, paid as agreed or something other than paid as agreed. 84-month payment history grid. So for those of you who understand the Fair Credit Reporting Act or have kind of an experience or knowledge of the Fair Credit Reporting Act, you may know that most derogatory information on a credit report can remain for no longer than 7 years or up to 7 years. 7 years times 12 months equals 84 months. Which is why you have a possibility of having an 84-month payment history grid on a credit report that might indicate delinquencies that are almost 7 years old. Again, hopefully you make your payments on time always, and so the 84-month payment history on your credit report is going to indicate that you've always paid on time, or that you paid on time until you chose to close the account. All right, as far as what information here is influential over your credit scores, all of it. How you paid in the past is influential in your credit scores. How you're paying now, or the status of the account, regardless of how it's being represented, is also considered in credit scoring systems. And of course, you don't need me to tell you that any reference from any of these particular fields on your credit report that indicates that the account is not being paid as per the terms of your agreement, meaning that it's not being managed appropriately, can be influential and unfortunately harmful to your credit scores. 84-month payment history grid, that's a heck of a memory on a credit report, okay? So if you missed a payment 6 years ago, there's a possibility that that's still on your credit report and somehow influential to your credit scores. If your account status indicates that that as of the most recent update of the account that you're 120 days past due, obviously that's going to be problematic as well. If all of these things in concert indicate that the account is paid on time and always has been paid on time, then obviously that's not going to be considered negative in credit scoring systems. So hopefully you learned a little bit today about statuses and ratings and also the payment history. If you have any questions about credit reports or credit scores or a topic that you'd like me to discuss, I'm happy to do so and consider it. Drop them in the comment section below, and have a great rest of your day. We'll talk again soon.
For more videos and credit tips from John Ulzheimer, go to www.tradelinesupply.com.